can hear me. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to add to the wonderful work that is going on here. I'm super excited also to be a part of Leap Consult and the amazing work we have the opportunity to do around the world. Our lead consultant is someone that I've shared stages with in different parts of the country and the world, and it's never a dull moment. So the environments that you want to be, because energy is contagious. You know, it's so contagious. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I said, what you know is important, but who you know is more important. Now, it may sound like a Nigerian cliche, no, but it's the truth is who you know is more important, because who you know determines the kind of energy that flows into your life and all of that. So energy is contagious. So I'm super excited to be in this space and to be talking about something that I love to talk about. Why do I love to talk about communication? Because I struggled as a child, as a teenager, and even as a young adult. I used to stammer. You know, I was afraid of being in front of people. I won't forget the first day the microphone was handed over to me. You know, my hands were shaking, my mouth was shaking. But like they say, the rest is history. Today I have the opportunity to stand on stages in different parts of the world with all kinds of audiences. And I share that story to say this. Anybody can learn how to be an effective and efficient communicator. Anybody can learn communication. And it amazes me that as I have the opportunity to be in all kinds of rooms with very successful leaders, one of the challenges that they all, you know, a lot of them, let me not say all, a lot come to meet me privately after a training, is that they want to get better in communication. That they find it difficult to be able to communicate. And so today we'll be having the opportunity to share some thoughts around communication. So I'm going to be sharing my screen in a moment, if you don't mind, and we will be learning together. So now just go to the chat and let me know where you are connecting from. Where are you connecting from? You're here in the room. Just type in a moment what part of the world you are connecting from. And there's a reason why I'm asking this question. Where are you connecting from? Just type in the chat. I want to see responses come from everybody. And after I see about 5 responses, I will tell you why I am asking this question. Lagos, Birmingham, Cyprus, okay, fantastic. Ibadan, Turkey, Abuja, Lagos, fantastic. Awesome. So the point is that we're all connecting from different parts of the world. And one thing you need to understand about communication is that communication, though it has its principles, is very unique to different parts of the world. So one challenge I'll give to you is this. You need to study where you are and learn what are the secrets to effective communication around the culture of where you work, do business, and interact with people. Now, I will never forget an experience I had a couple of years ago. You heard in my bio that one of the things that was shared that I'm a visiting resource person at the National Institute here in Nigeria, Nigeria's think tank for policy, strategy, and leadership. Some people ask me, how did you get into that space? Now, there's a habit I have. Now, somebody heard me speak and to one of the senior people there. They gave me his number, they gave him my number, but he never got in touch with me. Eventually, the person asked me, has this person gotten in touch with you? He said, no. I said, no. But eventually, we got to speak, and he invited me to his office for a meeting. I'm sure he wanted to size me up. Now, I have a habit that when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, business-wise, most of the time, I go with a gift. So I took a package from our company. It was just, a notebook, biro, just souvenirs, mugs, and the rest, branded from our company. Now, when I got there and introduced myself, we began to talk, I gave him the gift. He was so excited, and he said because he had done his PhD in Japan, and Japanese people never meet somebody for the first time empty-handed. Now, what he had spent a lot of time in Japan, and been influenced by the Japanese culture. I had no idea, but somehow, my culture kind of connected with the culture he had, and that's how we hit it off and became friends. Now, what I'm trying to say is that every culture has their love language, in quote. Every culture has the secrets behind effective communication. Now, one thing you're going to see from this presentation is that communication is not just when you talk. Communication is taking place even when you are quiet. Everything about you is communicating something to the people around you. And for a long time, a lot of us, the perception we have about communication, that it's only when you open your mouth to speak. Yes, that's a large chunk of when communication takes place, but that's not when impressions are even made at first. So if you're taking notes, just have that at the back of your mind, that communication is taking place all the time wherever you are present. So whether your mouth is closed or your mouth is open to speak, every part of you is communicating something to the people around you. And they're already making up their mind whether they want to connect with you, whether they want to go further with you, simply because of the vibes and the signals you have sent out. Okay? Communication is all about signals. Okay, so they're telecommunicational signals. So we have right now it's 5G. By 2030, we're going to have 6G connection, where connections take place very fast. So let me help you to be ahead of time, where you learn 6G communication. But the first thing is understand that communication is taking place even before you open your mouth to talk, and it's the second pillar of success. Last week we saw the first pillar, and we're trying to build this building called success. Now, when you look at these two images on the screen, what comes to your mind? Just go to the chat and type a word or a sentence. What comes to your mind when you see the two images on the screen? Remember, we're looking at communication. We're trying to move from just intention to impact. And the first thing I wanted us to know, is the fact that cultures communicate differently, so we must learn the culture of where we are and how effective communication takes place. And I've also taught you the fact that communication is taking place all the time, even when you are not talking. Just like they say, that silence speaks volumes. I don't know if it's for me, but I can't see anything drop in the chat. I said, the two images you see on the screen, when you see them, what comes to you? They're both communicating but differently. Okay, thank you, Ojo. Okay, who else is there? Folake says both of them are communicating. Thank you, Folake. Who else is there? Abiola says they are great communicators. Okay, fantastic communication signs. Okay, Stephen says people who change / impact the world positively. Fantastic. Awesome. All your answers are correct. But let me just piggyback on what Stephen says. People who change and impacted the world in different spaces. The business world, social impact world. And both of them, Steve Jobs and Martin Luther King Jr., were very effective communicators. Okay, so whether it was visual, whether it was through oratory and speech, they were people who were very effective. So the thing you have to understand is this: if you want to have impact in your world, you must learn. Communication is a compulsory course. Just like when you go to school and there are courses you pick where they say they are optional, and there are some that are compulsory. In the school of success, learning how to communicate effectively is a compulsory course. It's a course you must all learn and pass. We must all learn. Okay, very important. So when you look down history, people who have shaped the world were people who were effective communicators. So whether it even goes to those who were bad leaders like Hitler, Adolf Hitler, they were people who had oratory skills or communication skills. They could transfer not just their thoughts, but the emotion of their thoughts to the people around them. Because every word you speak or you don't speak is creating energy in the room. Words carry energy. Remember, that's why I said the rooms that you're around will determine the energy that flows in your life, because words are spirit and they are life. For those of us who are people of faith who know that words are spirit, it doesn't matter what your faith is. I remember a friend of mine who was a very successful banker was sharing a story of a colleague of his in the banking industry, that each time they would go out for marketing, this guy would bring out his complimentary card. He was a Muslim, and he would speak certain words to his card. And his friend asked, what are you to say? I'm speaking favor. Because he realized that words are things, not just thoughts. Words too are things. They are creative. So when we're communicating, we're also creating. We're creating atmospheres. We're creating walls. We're creating bridges. So it's very important that we understand that. And that's Martin Luther King and Steve Jobs did that very effectively. And so we will learn some of those trade secrets. Now, so great ideas fail when communication fails. I mean, the reason why there were many people who had fantastic ideas like Steve Jobs. There were many people who had social impact visions like Martin Luther King. But how come these ones succeeded and others failed? The key thing there, so a great idea can fail simply because the one who has the idea is not an effective communicator. And somebody who has an average idea, who knows how to effectively communicate his idea to people with clarity, can create an emotion that will cause people to buy in. And remember, people first buy you before they buy whatever you are selling. And it's through communication. Either the words you're speaking, could be your body language, and other things that we'll look at shortly. Now, Warren Buffett, a very successful business person, successful investor, who at one point was the richest man in the world, said this: why communication skills? He says, if you improve your communication skills, I guarantee you that you will earn 50% more money over your lifetime. Now, how many of you want to earn more money? Just go to the chat and maybe drop the dollar sign or drop the euro sign, drop whatever sign of the money that you want to come in. Warren Buffett, who is a very successful investor, who, has been very consistent over the years, is giving us one of his trade secrets, that you want to increase. I'm seeing the dollar, Peter dollar, Daniel dollar, Popola dollar. Okay, I can see the euro sign from Peter Chidi, plenty dollars. Yes, it's coming in. It's coming in. The money's coming. Fantastic. Yes, fantastic. The secret of men are in their stories, and success leaves clues. Warren Buffett says, if you improve your communication skills, I guarantee you. And the truth is, I personally have made more money through communication than any other thing else. It's opened doors. It's opened hearts. It's brought opportunities that, were beyond my other skill sets. And the thing about communication is that when you're an effective communicator, people naturally think that you're good at everything. That's a funny thing. The fact that you know how to communicate effectively, it just creates this impression that you are an all-round A student. You don't know how to communicate. You may have those technical skills. It already makes you look like a D student or a C student or an F student. And that's why it's very important that if you want to succeed, this pillar of success is a must. Now, so remember, we're looking at the three pillars of success, and pillar one is what? Let's see whether we're on the same page. What was pillar one? Because we're building a building here, and we know that the pillars determine the sustainability of any structure. Okay, of any structure. If you're a person of faith like me, there's a story in the scriptures. I talked about a man called Samson. I mean, when he wanted to bring down the building, where he went to was the pillars. Once the pillars were brought down, the building, the structure, that the pillars are what keep the structure up. So was the first pillar. What was the first pillar? Let's see whether we're here. Personal growth. Okay, was it personal growth? Barbara, let's see who else is going to agree with you on that. Okay, I'm waiting for some more. Let me not assume. Okay, well, you are correct. So the first pillar was personal growth, and we're looking at this. Now, there's a story that I love to share because it just drives home the point of the importance of building soft skills. It's a story of a young man and an old man who were on a boat ride. And the old man, while on that boat ride, maybe was trying to teach this young man some life lessons. And while on that little lake, the old man shows the young man a piece of plant that was growing on the water. He says, do you know anything about plants, about botany? And the young man says, I know nothing about botany. So, well, you've just lost 25% of your life. He shows him a rock. And he says, you know anything about rocks, about geology? He says, I know nothing about geology. He says, well, you've just lost another 25 equals what? Yes, your answer is correct, 50. The young man felt a bit discouraged. I know nothing about botany, know nothing about geology, so it simply means I've lost 50% of my life. Wow. All of a sudden, the story has that the stars come out, and the old man is looking at the beauty of God's creation, and he asks the young man, do you know anything about stars, about astronomy? And the young man says, I know nothing about astronomy. So, well, you just lost another 25% of your life, which equals what? So 50 plus 1, that's 75, right? So, I mean, it means he's a loser in life. He can't be successful because if you've lost 75 marks and all you have is 25, that is an F at the end of the day. Now, story has that all of a sudden there was this big bang on the lake. Apparently there was a dam by the lake, and the dam broke. And the water from the dam began to rush towards where their boat was on that lake. And the young man turns and looks at the old man. He asks the old man, do you know how to swim? And the old man says, I don't know how to swim. He says, well, you've just lost your life. With all your geology, astronomy, botany, all those scientific and technical stuff, you know. Am I still here? It's showing me this on the screen, okay? Yeah, so, Barbara, can you still hear me? At least I'm seeing your face.
We
Chidi,
can
can you
hear
hear me?
you.
Okay, great. So, because something popped up on the screen, I was wondering, I was signed out. Okay. I mean, so, and part of the moral, there's so many lessons in that story, but what I try to drive home by sharing that story is that many of us can learn so many technical skills and have the hardware, but we don't have the software that drives the hardware. And we all know that the software is what determines the efficiency of the hardware. Okay? And looking at this soft skill of communication, it should be something that you should take seriously, you know, beyond today. Become a student of communication. Like I said, if there's anything that has opened doors for me locally and internationally with all kinds of brands and people, is just learning the science and the art of communicating ideas and thoughts in simple ways. And so if you're hungry for success, you're hungry to make impact, to have influence, to increase your income, and even go beyond success or significance like Martin Luther King, then one of the things you need to learn is how to communicate. And remember, I said it's even happening when you're not talking. It's part of it. These are some brands I've had the opportunity to influence, to impact, and to also make income from, simply because of learning this art and science of communication. And hopefully you're already learning something that will help you to be a more effective and efficient communicator. So why communication matters? I know I've said a lot already that already drives home the point, but the first principle of learning from the Greek is repetition. Repeat, repeat, repeat. When you hear anyone repeat something, it's not for a lack of what to say, it's simply to drive home the point. That's the first law of learning from the Greek. So let me just say this. As an effective communicator, learn how to repeat the same thing in different ways. Very important. Don't just say it once and think that you've been heard. And like you will see later on, that communication is not even what you said, it's what people heard. Okay, it's what they heard. So I'm sure you've noticed that there's this game that people play about people on the line. Somebody's giving a message and it tells the message to the next person, and by the time it gets to the last person, the message has been distorted. Okay, at the end of the day. So it's beyond just what is said, it's what is heard. Okay, so the truth is, results rise and fall on communication. Just like they say everything rises and falls on leadership, Dr. John C. Maxwell. I like to also add to that your results will rise or fall to the level of your communication. So the level of results I'm getting right now, and the level of results you're getting right now, is simply tied to our level of effective communication. Okay? So if we want to just move from just having intention to actually making impact, it's very, very important that we learn how to communicate. And also, if we want to reduce a lot of the conflict that we see in marriages, in relationships, among teams, is a communication crisis. Something was said, something else was heard. Okay? Because remember, communication is not just what you said. People are reading. They're reading your expression. They're reading your body language. They're reading what you did not say, what you held back, and all of that. So communication becomes very important if we want to deal with conflict too. Now let's go to the chat and type one word that describes a recent communication challenge you face. So just think about your life in the last 1 month, or the last 5 weeks, or 6 weeks. This is the 6th week of the year, I believe. Think about one word that describes a communication challenge you face. Just go to the chat. I like all of us to be involved. Go to the chat. I'm going to slow down a bit. Go to the chat and type just one word to describe a communication challenge you've had. Because if you are living even the monks that live in the monastery, I'm sure they have issues among themselves and all of that. So if you're living with people and you're not living alone, you would have definitely had. So just go to the chat and type one word that describes that. And after I see our responses, I will move on. Negligence, okay, thank you, Bawingida. Misconception, thank you, Wale. Heartbroken, Barbara, emotions, misunderstood, interpretation. Thank you for response. Keep it coming. Okay. Raymond says barrier. So a wall was built instead of a bridge. The goal wasn't achieved. Popola, thank you. Fantastic. I like your responses, because what your responses are showing is that communication is critical in success. Successful business, successful marriage, successful relationships, successful career. False narrative. Thank you, Mike. So all your responses simply drive home the point. And that's why we're all here to learn. We're all here to learn. I'm so excited with Chidi, who is our, who coordinates what we're doing over here. She comes in with so much energy, and that energy creates the momentum for the day. Her pitch, her use of words and everything. So Chidi, thank you for leading the way. I've learned last week, today, just from your style of communicating. It's fantastic. Now, so communication is a transfer of meaning. There are many definitions, but for the essence and for the purpose of this class, it's transfer of meaning. It's not what you say, it's what the other person understands. Okay, so just know that when you're communicating, either through your body language, through your silence, or your choice of words or choice of location to share what you share, You are transferring meaning. Okay? It's not just what you say, it's what the person understands. So, like I said, most conflicts, missed targets, broken relationships can be traced back to unclear communication. If you were to think about your life and your career and your business, or the client you lost, or the client who did not come back, a lot of the times it can be traced to the transfer of the wrong meaning. Okay? They understood you wrongly, either by your silence or your delayed response. Let me just tell you personally, for me. Now, if I do something for someone and it takes them up to more than 24 hours to say thank you, then my entitled. Now, you may choose to believe otherwise, but that's the meaning that has been communicated to me. That's my understanding by their delayed appreciation for a favor that was given. Okay, so, and it relates to so many other things. The wife gives the husband food, and he doesn't say thank you, or doesn't compliment on her hair. That silence of not saying, honey, that Valentine hair you did is very fine. Oh. What she understands by him, his silence, is that the hair is not fine. Now, so you've communicated something by your silence. So just know that meaning when you're communicating. Now, how do we connect to the world? There are essential 4 ways, for the purpose of this conversation that we're having. Is what we do, how we look, what we say, and how we say it. Okay. So the work that you do, and that's the reason why a lot of times, people start by sharing what they do, not who they are. It's just the way the world connects. It's just the way people are sizing you up. There's something called executive presence. Now, I know somebody, I referred about 3 people for a job somewhere. And interestingly. And these people are, these are people who, I don't want to give too many details because I don't know who's going to watch or hear this, but these are, top level people, and one of the reasons why I know the person who I felt should have gotten, because the other 2 people got it, was all about presence, the aura you carry. So there may be a lot in the head, but that presence. So the combination of all these 4 things, and we'll look at some more later, but what we do communicates something to the world about who we are, what we value. Okay, so it says something, how we look. There's a saying in this part of the world that you are dressed the way you dress. Packaging matters. Okay, so whether you like it or not, though is the content we want. I'm not advertising Ever Water for them, but the packaging matters. So yes, this is here. If I was to give you maybe in the sachet, which one would you pick? Naturally you would pick the one that is in the bottle because maybe you feel it's cleaner, blah blah, but it's the same water. I know of companies who basically they cater for different sectors of the economy and society. So the same water, some is put in sachet, some is put in these cups that are sealed, some are put in the bottles because of the purchasing power of people. But the packaging has already determined who is going to buy what. Remember I said people are first going to buy you before they buy what you're selling. So packaging matters. What we say, so your vocabulary. Okay, so that's why we all need to learn the one, because they say even a fool looks wise when his mouth is closed. So by the time you open your mouth to speak, yes, you have good portfolio, looking good, but you open your mouth to give your 2 minutes pitch, and the bullets are flying everywhere. Nice guy, nice lady. But is this the face we want to represent, and all of that. So what we say, it could also not be how you say it, but it could be the choice of words. Okay, so your choice of words may be very poor choice of words that put people off, may sound cocky, rude, disrespectful, or might even sound timid at the end of the day. So what you say, then how we say it. So the packaging of words also. Your pitch, your tone. Are you speaking for everybody to hear? Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you speak louder? And all of that. Or you're speaking too loud. And all. So all that matters. There are some people that if you are too loud, they won't want you around. This person is too loud. Or this person is too timid. Or this person looks like this. Nah, they can't say this. So the point we're trying to make in saying how you connect with the world. Remember I said communication is beyond what you say, right? So I'm simply trying to drive home this point. What you do, how you look, what you say, and how you say it are all communicating something to people. And they all have equal marks. At the end of the day, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to showcase what's inside because you've been disqualified by what is outside. Okay, so it's very important that we take care of everything at the end of the day. So people, form conclusions before you finish your first sentence. So presence speaks before words. So you stand on that stage, or you walk up to that person, or you're being introduced to somebody. They've already made their conclusion about you. Thank God for good profiles and CVs. Like my mentor, Dr. Maxwell, would say, just ensure that whatever is written in your CV, you're able to live up to it at the end of the day. Because for some people, the CV is high up here, but when you meet them in person, the presence they carry is down here. So the CV is an A, but the presence they carry is like a C or D. And that's why you find people who may be third-class students, but they have first-class jobs. Simply because they know how to carry executive presence through communication. They are communicating something to people by everything they do. The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they don't talk. They don't respond to certain things on social media. Just like it was Winston Churchill who said, if you pay attention to every barking dog, you never get to your destination. So they have a social media stance where there are things that they just basically will not respond to. Their silence is golden. It communicates something. We're going somewhere. So when communication fails, Chidi, you can send me a private chat to let me know how I'm doing with time. So we've already talked about that in the chat. Misunderstanding, conflicts, there are delays. We have to keep reworking things. There are trust issues coming. When there's communication breakdown. There's a lot of misunderstanding, there's conflict. So you can trace a lot, actually the root of the fruits that we see of misunderstanding, of conflict, of people delaying, taking longer turnaround time to get jobs done. Is communication. Having to rework things again and again, repeat, is communication. A loss of trust is communication. So these are just fruits of someone, a leader, a person who has not learned to effectively communicate, and it affects the entire equation of success at the end of the day. Now, failure is really not about bad people. So it's not really about this person is bad. It's often about unclear messages. Okay? Now, let me just tell you that I'm learning something, that there are some times where, yes, you communicate verbally. There's sometimes you communicate in writing. But I realize that a lot of times, many of us hide behind the writing because we don't want to have certain frank conversations. And what you wrote can be misunderstood. The messaging can be wrong. Even if you use ChatGPT, at the end of the day, he gets it wrong. And the messaging. So usually it's not because somebody is bad. It's often because message is unclear. When people don't deliver on certain jobs, when they should, how they should, a lot of times is poor messaging. Please don't say it only once. Say the same thing in at least 7 different ways. So there's no room for assumption. Because your goal in communication is not passing information. Your goal in communication is helping them understand. It's understanding. It's not about transfer of knowledge. It's about getting people to understand. It's getting people. And so if they didn't understand it, then you have not communicated. Okay, so it's very important. Now let's move ahead. So the ABC of communication. Let's look at 3 things that we call the ABC of communication. One, we've said it, but this it's not just about, like I said, about your dressing. It's about your executive presence. So the A in the ABC of communication, the A stands for appearance, your first impression, your courage, your demeanor, okay? Your grooming matters and all of that, appropriate to the context of where you're going to. Very, very important. That takes me back to the issue of culture too. Now, I came back from the US 2 days ago, and when I was coming back, I sat down next to a Nigerian guy who lives in Poland, and we got talking. It was one of those flights where from the beginning to the end of the flight there was talk. The other guys were in front. I mean, they got up in heated conversation about Nigeria. Oh my God, I've never had a flight like this before, but I enjoyed it because I got so many lessons. Now, the guys, he was telling me about Poland and how they can be extremely racist. But he says one of the things that helped him to integrate and get by-in was that he learned the language. That the moment they realize you can speak their language, it changes the whole dynamics. I don't know how you feel that when you find yourself in a city or a country where there are not many people, and you hear somebody speaking your language, or you see somebody who is dressed in your traditional attire. There's just this connection that takes place. Now, it's the same thing in every place with every person. Your appearance is communication. So do your homework and ensure that it's relevant to the context of the people you are trying to connect with, whether it's professionally or personally. The first impression sends a signal. Communication is all about signals. Okay? Very, very important. So that's the A. Now the B talks about behavior. So your attitude, listening, empathy, emotional awareness. Behavior is very crucial. Now, so like I said, sometimes it's not about talking. I have made my way into some of the most influential rooms, not by being a talker, but by being a good listener. I'll give you an example. Just last week, I had the opportunity to be at a meeting in DC, and they were, senior people. And so from the delegation from Nigeria that was there, I mean, we had top government people, president, even my governor was there. I mean, I was meeting him in person for the first time. Throughout, I was just there as a fly on the wall. I mean, when they were asked for opinions, I mean, I just kept quiet, just kept listening. And on the final engagement, they're like, okay, can you share so and so? And that was my opportunity. But sometimes the way you win your way into the hearts of people, and this has helped me, even though my wife may not agree. She says I'm very fantastic with people professionally, but when it comes to her, I can see Barbara laughing. I hope your husband is not guilty too. Okay, so, but anyways, she says I'm a good listener for the people outside, but when I come home, I'm not a good listener. Your behavior is communication, your attitude, empathy. One of my best friends in the US is a Ghanaian guy. He told me, you don't behave like a Nigerian, you behave like a Ghanaian. He says Nigerians, when they come, they are very forceful, they want to dominate. And that's how me and him became friends, so because I just learned how to understand everybody I'm dealing with. I think that's the difference between management and leadership. Management is one size fits all. Leadership is very situational. And so you have to be able to study who you are with. Takes me back to the point I shared, that communication is not just generic, it's specific. And so you're not being a chameleon, you're simply learning how to speak the love language or the language of the people that you're relating with, whether it's in business or professional level. Sometimes it's just listening, sometimes it's showing empathy, sometimes It's just you being aware of the situation. Okay, awesome. So let's go in the ABC of communication, which talks about message delivery. Remember, we said it's not. How many of you have sent? I had an issue with one of my assistants that works with me. I gave him a task to do before I traveled, and the task wasn't done, but I just decided to keep quiet. And just a while ago, I sent him a message, and I use our Nigerian term. I said, "This is see finish." And he says, "I'm really sorry. I sent the message. I just discovered that it wasn't delivered." And he apologized and all of that. Sometimes you're trying to send a message and it wasn't delivered. How many of you, if it's happened to you, just wave your hands or do an emoji? You sent a message, it wasn't delivered. You call, the person says it didn't show up on my side. Yeah, so just realize that communication is about message delivery. Okay, it's not just about talking. Okay, the message was delivered and they understood it, so it created the right emotions, it invoked the right actions, it brought the right transformation. Then we know effective communication has taken place. So the 5 dimensions, what you say. So this is the message. Okay, very important. Who you say to, so you understand the audience. You can do is not to understand your audience. Okay, and it just shows poor emotional intelligence. It shows zero respect for the person, the people, the group, because you have not understood this is the audience, so that it shapes your style on how you communicate to them. Okay, I won't forget an experience I had. I mean, some people like it, some don't like it. I was invited to speak to the most successful, a group of the most successful real estate companies in the US. This was like 2 years or 3 years ago. And when you're going to speak to this all of these people are more successful than I am, more money, I mean, older. I was the only black person in the room, extremely wealthy people, the biggest real estate companies in the world. So there's senior vice presidents, CEOs, heads, whatever, who have come or whatever. So I was speaking, and my style was, I wasn't going to go and talk to them. I just made it an interactive conversation. And when I was getting feedback at the end of the day, they got one clip videos. One of the senior vice president of the company said, I like his style. He threw out ideas and got audience participation. Now, at the end of the day, we achieved that simply because I understood the audience. So it helped me to determine my style. So what is your motive? So why are you saying what you're saying? What emotion do you want to create by your messaging at the end of it? It's very important. What do you want them to feel? Remember, I said that communication is about emotion transference, because your words carry emotions. Okay, so when you enter a room where a husband and a wife or people are finished fighting, you can almost cut the tension in the room, because it's created an atmosphere in that place because of the words that were shared, people shouting and insulting themselves. Or you enter an environment where people are talking calmly and lovingly and respectfully. There's just this calmness and peace and emotion. So what do you want to transfer? What's the motive? Then where you see the environment is so important. So you may have the right message, the right audience, the right style, the right motive, but the environment you use. I'm working on a training, about to do a training for a company, and had a conversation with the management, and they asked me a question. Do you think we should do it in-house or take it off-site? I said, well, you want my suggestion, it's going to cost you more money. This kind of training should be done off-site so that it reduces distractions. Okay, so distractions. Then also we're doing it in cohorts, because there are certain things that you're going to say to the senior management that you don't want middle management to hear, so it doesn't look disrespectful, or the younger ones. So it's broken into cohorts. That's all about environment. So some people don't realize that everybody is there, they're just talking and shooting people, hitting people, and all of that, and making people look foolish and stupid. All they are saying is true, but the environment and is not the right environment for that to be said. Okay, we're getting set to land this plane. So Like I said, communication is not what is said, it is what is heard. So just know that it's not what you said, what they heard. So you always need to ask them, so what did you understand by what I said? So it's a dialogue, it's not a monologue at the end of the day. So the art of simplicity. This is very key. I think it's Albert Einstein, one of the most intelligent people who has ever lived, who said that if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, then you don't understand it. He says simplicity is genius. So your job is to simplify communication, and your behavior is communicating something. So you want there to be alignment between what you're saying with your words and how you're behaving. That's why I said there's a lot of confusion and distrust, because we say one thing and our behavior. Remember, the ABC of communication is that behavior is part of it. Okay, I saw a funny skit. The HR was talking to people in the office. This is an office environment. You need to dress corporately now. Then the chief, the CFO comes. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Then the CEO comes. He's wearing, it was a tech place. So the CEO and the CFO come in. They're dressed casually, while the head of human resources is having a conversation in the corridor with the staff. You need to dress more appropriately. This is a corporate environment. So the appearance already of the CEO and the CFO already betrays what they are trying to communicate as corporate culture. Okay, so keep it short, say it slow, repeat what matters. Remember, repeat, remove all the jargons, because you want to keep it simple at the end of the day. Now, remember the whole essence. Great communicators are simplify without insulting intelligence. We're not trying to insult the intelligence of people, but we must make it like A, B, C. So that should be your goal, that even a child can understand it, because the goal of communication is not to show how intelligent you are. It's to ensure that there's understanding, so there's buy-in and there's change in action or behavior, so there can be change in results at the end of the day. Now, so as we wrap up and before we go to the breakout rooms, I have a couple of questions that we'll look into when we go there, so that we can all learn from each other when we come back. I want you to make a decision. You can see just pick one of these shifts you want to make. I've said a lot. I know I've said a lot. Is it listening without interrupting? Is it speaking with clarity? Is it managing your tone and your timing? Is it choosing the right environment? So you have a workbook. Hopefully you have printed it out. Okay? I'd like you to pick which one of these ones you want to work on in the next 7 days. Then maybe when you're done with this next 7 days, you can pick another one for the next 7 days, then the next 7 days, then the next 7 days. So for the next 1 month, you want to address these 4 things, but just pick one. What is your one? Go to the chat and type your one. So to save time, if it's number 1, they just write LWI. If it's speak with clarity, put SWC. If it's manage tone and timing, put MTT. If it's choose the right environment, put CRE. So just go to the chat. Everybody must participate, including those of you who have been completely multitasking because your cameras are off. You've been cooking that egusi soup and pounded yam while being a part of the communication class. I see you and God sees you. Or those of you who are watching your favorite Premier League team play their match, I wish them good success. But this is very important. So at the point in time, I'm going to ask us to put on our cameras too, because that's part of communication. It's visual, not just audio. It's not just you listening, it's you seeing. Okay, so that's why a lot of leaders and people are not effective communicators, because they are multitaskers. So somebody is saying something, but the body language is different, but they couldn't see it because their eyes were on their phone or on their computer, or they're reading. So it's okay, I heard you. You heard something, but you didn't say something. Okay, so you missed something in what the person was trying to communicate to you at the end of the day. So it's very important. Okay, awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Keep it coming in. Just make sure that you pick your one that you're going to work with for the next 7 days. And like I said, you can use this for the next 1 month. So after you're done with mastering this, move to the next one. At the end, I think the goal is not even mastery. The goal is for you to just understand and be consistent in doing it. Okay, so let's move on. We're about to land this. So, like I said, this week, don't aim to be impressive. Just aim to understand. So, just try to understand the people that you live with and work with. And you just discover that you're a better communicator. So, you've come for a class on communication. Don't try to impress anybody with the new knowledge you've got by talking. Just, and if you've ever read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, one of the habits is seek first to what? Understand before you seek to be understood. They don't understand me, they don't understand me. No, you seek to understand them. These people are very racist. These people are very tribalistic. These people are very blah, blah, blah. We're very quick to judge people. But if you want to become an effective communicator, which is the second pillar for success, you have to begin to understand people and not seek for them to understand you. It's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. And I've given you some tools that can help you from today. Now, I want to wrap up where I started again. Why communication skills? Warren Buffett says, if you improve your communication skills, I guarantee you that you will earn 50% more money over your lifetime. I can add to this, your impact will increase, your influence will increase, your income will increase simply because you've learned communication skills. I hope you've heard something that you're going to apply, and we look forward to hearing your success story. Thank you. So I'm going to hand over back to Chidi for a while before I give the questions for the breakout rooms, maybe some little transition in between. I think I have like 8 more minutes, right, before, based on the original schedule, but I know we started a bit earlier. So over to you, Chidi. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. That shows that you're good communicators because you listened, and I know that success is knocking at the door. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, that's an interim thank you, but a very big one because you're still coming back. So we're going to go into the breakout sessions shortly. And then after the breakout sessions, we will have some discussions. We're going to get some questions for the breakout session. And after the breakout session and our discussions, please let's ensure that we have these conversations in our breakout sessions. They're all part of the process. And then after that, we come back to the main room, and there we'll take questions, and we'll also share experiences from the breakout sessions. And please, when you go to the breakout sessions, don't keep quiet, right? Like, he has also taught us that saying silence, you're communicating something. And since we're all here to learn, please let's share as much as possible. We're all here to learn, and it would pay us all. So, do I go ahead with the breakout room questions, or would you want to take them?
So maybe they should take a screenshot or picture of the questions that they're taking in the breakout room. So I have 3 questions there that I don't know how many people are in each breakout room, but everybody should have an opportunity to answer this. Since it's 20 minutes in the breakout room, if there are, how many of us in each breakout room? If we're there. Yeah, so just do the math, Chidi, but these are the questions. So take a picture of the questions. When you go, answer the questions sincerely, because when we come back, we want to hear your perspective so that we can all learn. I am not a custodian of all the information, so I want to learn from you too as you share your own perspective, and everybody else can learn from you also. But just take a picture of these questions. These are the questions we'll be answering in the breakout rooms. You finish earlier than the 20 minutes and you have other things you want to share, feel free to do so. But I encourage you, if you do, take the first 60 seconds to just get to know each other, your name, where you're connecting from, and then you can go ahead.
There'll be about
Over
five
to you,
people.
Chidi.
There'll be about 5 people in the room, each room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So that means
I'm opening the rooms now. So you just join your room. Once you click on join, you'll be in your room. I hope I got it. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, something is wrong.
No, sir, you're getting it. You're
Am
getting
I
it.
no,
getting it?
you're
Yes,
getting it.
yes,
Yeah,
you're
people are
getting it.
going to the rooms.
Yeah,
Okay.
people are joining their rooms now.
Mm.
Are you guys seeing the rooms? I'm not seeing the rooms.
Yeah, people are going there, even though there are a couple of people who haven't accepted most likely the rooms, so they can unmute and tell us here if they're having any
Well,
issues.
I was logged out of room one, so I'll appreciate if I can be sent back there. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
But no, no, no. Something is wrong. There are 32 people in one room. The room is too big. I need to close the room and start over.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I need to close the room and start over.
Okay, so maybe you just end it, everybody comes back, then you redo it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope I get it right. Something went wrong. No. So all the rooms are empty.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, we're still having issues. I think I joined the room. There were about 28 of us. I don't think
Yeah,
we have been
yeah.
properly put in the rooms.
The rooms are closing so that the rooms will close in about 20 seconds. So we'll do it again.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it told me to leave. That's why I left to come back so that we can.
Yeah.
I'm sure we are trying to. Yes, sir.
The rooms will close now. Three, two, one. Okay. Recreate.
Oh. Thank you, Jesus.
Throw us all out.
Yes, yes.
Let's just create a breakout room again.
That's what I'm doing right now. I
The
send.
only problem is gonna shuffle us now. It's gonna
Yes,
we're already enjoying ourselves.
it's going to shuffle everybody. So I see where it is. Recreate. All right, fantastic. So I think it's better now. Yeah, so you can join your rooms now. It's better now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, 6 rooms. Yeah. Okay. So host, you can join any of the rooms you want to join. If you want to join. Some people are jumping out of rooms. What's happening?
Yeah, we still have 12 people here again. So it simply means that some people are still not assigned to rooms.
No, what I see here from my side is only 3 people unassigned.
Okay, that means the other people have not accepted.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Kate. Kate is here, but I think she has moved to a room or something.
No, Casey is still here. Um,
She's assigned room 3, but she hasn't joined.
But I
okay,
can't
so
see her name as unassigned. Okay, because the only people that are not assigned are co-hosts. I've not made her co-host.
yeah, so I can see Nancy is still here. Oluwatobi Adetola is still here.
So
Ojo,
why can't I see them?
I don't know why you can't from your own side, but I can see
Please, if
Ojo.
you haven't been assigned a room, can you please put up a message in the chat room? Or if you have problems joining a room, can you please put a message in the chat room, please? Thank you.
I don't think. Looks like from my end everybody is in except you and I.
And Ojo Opeyemi Oluwaseun.
Ojo Okwemi has been dropping out. I keep assigning, but it keeps dropping out. So let me take him back to room 1 and see whether that will work. I've done that again. I've assigned him manually to see whether it will. Adetola Kehinde has not joined. I don't know why. It's supposed to be in room 1.
Nancy Kainde.
Nancy Kennedy not joined.
Kennedy.
Okay, they are assigned, but they have not joined. Okay, Oluwaseun not joined. Some people are not joined. Let me go to this room and see. Let me join the room and see.
Now even so now begin to tell him more of the things that I've told him. And it was like, wow, I'm so impressed. And right there,
Some people have not just joined the rooms. The rooms are going on. Chidi, you can join any of the room as a co-host. Join and see what's going on.
Okay.
Or then you can also join any of the room as co-host, so you can join and see what's going on.
Where do I see the option to join? I can't see.
You can see it.
Yeah, let me.
As a co-host, you'll be able to see it now.
There's join beside the rooms in blue.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Beside you can just click on join beside the room. You should be able to see that.
Okay, let me. Okay.
Can you see the join?
Yeah, okay, I see it now. Okay.
Uh-huh. Let me go to this room.
To eat pizza. So we went out together to go get pizza. Then after that, we came back. And then subsequently, I just became the boy's friend, and then I advised him. And then all of a sudden, the boy turned a new leaf. He started attending school better, started taking. In fact, the mother one of the days just went on the radio and they were asking her, "Okay, what did you do to this boy? How did you manage?"
each cohort that we can reach out to and say, okay, if you are up for a collaboration work, something that will show, that bring you visibility, just help you, let people know you. And for the students and my colleagues, everybody, they opted in, that they were happy that okay, we are down, we can, in fact, they to encourage him and support him. So, and from the communication we've been having so far, myself and one brother also, who also had interest in making sure that the youth ministry also thrive. What we're doing was that we're giving him encouragement, supporting him, and we're also following up. So we're bringing in ideas and we're following up. We're always ready to support. We're always attentive. We're always present.
Ojo Opeyemi, are you still having challenge with your internet? Ojo Opeyemi, I think you're having challenge with your internet. Raymond, change your name to your name now. This one that you're in continent 12. I didn't. I don't remember what I. Yes, I didn't take note of when they started. I'm not sure that this breakout room, I didn't put a time to it though.
I see that there's an option to broadcast.
Yes, what does that mean?
So to tell them that we're coming back to the main room by 5:30.
Okay, can you do that?
Do you want us to reduce the Q&A time?
Yeah.
That we're coming back to the main
5:30
room
means in 7 minutes.
5 minutes. So what do you want us to do?
Let's give them breakout. Let's give them 5 more minutes for breakout.
Okay, so let's
So let it be
we'll do Q&A for 20 minutes.
5:35.
Okay.
Can you do the breakout?
Sorry?
Okay, I can broadcast a message to all of them.
Okay. So
Okay.
5:35. So we'll just do 20 minutes Q&A.
So breakout ends at and
So to give them 5 extra minutes.
yes, that means in 8 minutes they should be done.
And then just wait. When it's time for them to come back, you can
Okay.
tell them. You
5:35.
can tell them it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
If you bring them in at the time.
Okay. That's better. All right. Some John Olisa, did you drop out? You're supposed to be in the breakout room. What happened? John Olisa. Okay. I don't Nancy Kennedy is not hearing me, I think. And Kate, you might want to enter any of the room and check what's going on. You are free.
Now, if I enter, it's Shane saying I should join the breakout room. I think it's fine. Let them discuss.
I'll be okay.
Yes,
What
some
I
people
did,
don't
what I
just
did.
join. Maybe they are not. They stepped away, or their network doesn't allow them to join.
Okay. What I did was to just get in there for a minute and then I came out just to know that something was at least they were having conversation.
Okay.
I think they're doing.
Yeah, so you can see from your dashboard.
Yeah.
If they're having conversations, as long as there's more than 2-3 people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, if something is going on.
Mm.
Then you see their microphones moving too.
I can't see that from here. I can see that. I can see that they're in the room, except for those who are not yet joined. I don't know. I'm not getting this Nancy. She's not joined and she's not talking.
Who is Xiaomi?
Yeah, even
Xiao.
I don't know. I've been trying to reach the person, but they are not talking.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Mama. I bought send message in.
On the traffic, the message to send.
No.
Around 18:20.
So they will come so that when people are going, you don't be there.
Sorry, ma, there's serious traffic everywhere.
Oh.
I would let you know once I'm close to you.
I thought you would be able to tell this guy speak to him.
You have let that girl call them. Let them take a decision.
She told them now, the challenge that Pastor Ghana was coming. He said, oh, we went to call Benga. These people, they are very, very funny. I don't know who sent him. I told you, come and see me. He went to call Benga. So Benga now told me the chairman said, and then he was talking. Chicken. No, you go ahead and do it now. Are you the in charge? Okay, Chidi, you are back. Breakout room will be ending now. Breakout room will be ending now.
Okay, welcome back from the breakout rooms. I got to visit all the breakout rooms for a moment, and I had all the fantastic contributions. I mean, you guys are very wise people, so much experience in the room. So thank you for sharing your wealth of experience. I had one quote that one of us shared. Nobody quotes silence. I've written it down. Okay. Um, I also heard someone sharing how, to make their voice loud, sometimes they'll write in block letters, capital letters, and the feedback they got from that. I also learned about the ability to read the room. Yeah, just fantastic stuff from all the groups. But now we're going to listen to all the groups. I'm sure you must have appointed someone who is going to share on behalf of your group for the sake of time, or actually, do we do it that way? They have someone to share from their group, or anybody can just share this time around? How do we, Maxim?
Whichever way you decide.
Okay, fine.
So we have 20 minutes for this session.
Yes. Okay. So
Thank you.
maybe let's have each group, just one person just share in 60 seconds. So this is a test of your communication skills also. A summary of the learnings, what you felt from your room, and maybe what the highlight was. And after we do that, then anybody else who wants to share, can also share. And if we have questions, we will also take. Yeah,
So
so group
you can
one.
take it from group one and give
Yes.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, so that's 90 seconds. Group one.
Good day, everyone.
If you
My
can
name
put
is
your, if you are in a good place, if you can put on your camera, I mean, you don't mind that would be nice, so that we can, communication is also visual, so we can see who we're talking to. But if you can't, group two, group three, group four, five, and six, just prepare that whoever is representing you will put on the camera. Okay. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, good day, everyone. I'm from Group 1, and I'll be sharing a little from all our agreement and discussions and what I learned from everybody. And what from the first questions that we deliberated upon, we have to share an example of where communications directly contributed to a successful outcome, and what specifically made it that communication work. We are able to come to a resolution, all of us, that we don't we try to respond to people, we don't react to them. When we are communicating, we save ourselves from reacting to what we felt or what we perceive. We respond to them, meaning that even when what we are getting from other people are not palatable, is not what we expected, we can make our own submission. And the moment we submit, in fact, one of our participants told us that he asked the supervisor that fling his book and throw it away. And instead of talking, he has to keep silent a little, and later went to the professor and tried to communicate why she saw what she saw that got her angry. And she has to apologize, and later has to treat
Sorry to cut
that.
you short, Emmanuel. Sorry to cut you short, but your 90 minutes is up. So let's just take the one point you shared. Respond, don't react is the summary of your group's question 1. Okay, so we're going to have to pass you to move to the group 2 now. But thank you for the wonderful sharing and the story of the book that was thrown. The person did not react there and later on shared with it. That's an amazing point from group 1 already. So you will have pass mark 100 over 100. Don't worry, you can mute. Let's go to group 2.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Ayodele, and I'm representing Group 2.
Okay, your clock has started. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Daniel Ayodele, and I'm representing Group 2. And we had amazing conversation. We got to introduce ourselves, and the take-home point for us is that, excuse me, opportunity if not properly communicated. So we love that. If you must communicate with clarity, communicate with confidence, communicate by listening more. Your body language also matters. I think some people also said how they put on their dress to a question also matters. Then I think Giwa also spoke about timing. You can say the right thing, but if you say it at the wrong time, it will lose the opportunity. Then emotional control. So these are some of the things that we discuss: understanding hierarchy, understanding structure, understanding positioning, being in the room, read the room. These are some of the things we discussed, and it was very, very impactful to us. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Daniel. 59 seconds, and you have driven home so many valid points, those bullet points. And I like the point you brought up, that you can speak fantastic grammar and still not effectively communicate. And the other side, like we said, you may not speak good English, and that can disqualify you, but you can also speak good English and not drive home the point. Thank you so much, Group 2. Also, Group 3.
All right. Good evening. My name is Adeyemi Kizo. So in our group, we were able to first of all understand that one of the things that make communication effective is for you to be bold in your communication pattern, and then make it simple to the extent that the person can understand you rightly. And we look at what are the specific things to do. Is for us to emphasize more on those things that are working. Then we also said about the mistakes that could happen. We talked about shouting while trying to communicate, not being able to put your emotion under control. It's and we said, what are the remedy? Number one is that the best way is to keep silent. Second one, you can delay your response so that your emotion, since two wrongs don't make it right, so you can delay your emotion and get things sorted. And then you must be able to understand in the aspect of empathy why the person is reacting to you in that other way that you could not, which talks about the third question. What are the negative communication habits? Somebody may react to you negatively, but you could still respond to that person in a calm way, because either you shout or you are gentle with your voice. Your message can still be communicated, and
Fantastic.
then people have different meaning to shouting. That where I live, when you shout in an office, whatever.
I'm going to have to cut you short,
Okay,
sir.
all right. Thank you, sir.
But you've made wonderful points.
Yeah.
And it was from you I got the quotes. You can't
Yes, sir.
be silent. Thank you for
Yes,
sharing.
sir. Thank you,
Three,
sir.
wonderful job also. Great. All the groups. Group 4, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. To our group, we highlighted and we took a main point from what success story, a successful story through communication is understanding the style to communicate. And we had a scenario case of a child who was unmanageable by the parents, and the person had to use playing with the child, understanding the child, what they would like, and having fun with the child, and the child was transformed. So we have to understand that the kind of people we are dealing with and how to communicate with them. And the second thing that we learned is, I'm sorry, I'm speaking of.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The second scenario that we have learned is listening, not just listening to hear the words, but listening to understand how the person is communicating, what they are communicating, their tone, their voice. Sometimes people communicate with the voices or the silence, like this we learn to understand what the person, sometimes we don't deliver what we expect to deliver because we fail to interpret the right message, and we end up making mistakes. That we have learned that we need to listen more and understand more emotions that are being communicated to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Group 4. Great job you've done. Let's move to Group 5.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria, and today we're able to talk about communication and some common mistakes that people make while communicating. And so we saw that there are some, as people assume, instead of asking real questions, they just assume instead of them to ask questions. And people put emotional reactions instead of being thoughtful in their responses. And one other thing that stood out for us is that we should have assertive communication. Being assertive means being clear, being confident, and being respectful. When you're confident about yourself and you're confident about what you are saying, it sets boundaries for people, and it builds trust, and it prevents resentment. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Even though your name over there is different, so maybe you prefer Gloria, so just you can rename yourself. Okay, wonderful point. Yes, so finally, Group 6.
Good evening.
Good evening, Stephen.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Before you talk, Stephen, so you notice that only 2 groups eventually put on their cameras after the instruction was given that put on your camera when you're talking. Okay, so so you see, that means I did not communicate effectively. I should have said it again and again and again and again. Okay, maybe after each person spoke, please
I did not receive the message effective, the right message.
Exactly. So, but go ahead, Stephen. Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So in my group, we addressed the question just exactly the way we were given to. So the first one was to give an example of how effective communication was able to contribute to the success. What a member shared how he was friendly with the people, and being friendly with the people, they were able to listen to him, share his ideas, buy into his ideas, and they were able to join him in accomplishing the idea that he had in mind, and they achieved the success. So the second part, we talked about communication mistakes often that blocks a team of personal success. one of it was ambiguity in defining the message, when even the message you are defining is even difficult for people to understand, then you not achieve result. Then the second part is being proud or showing off, when the speaker itself shows himself like he's more than every other person, and yet he wants people to understand him and people to buy into his ideas. That becomes a problem. So the third part talks about the third question. It talks about one thing that we can improve on, that will accelerate our success. We talked about simplicity.
So I'll allow you to stop there, Stephen. Your time is up, and
all right, thank you.
You stopped at a point that I want to start with as I summarize. But fantastic job that has been done by all the groups. I mean, you can give yourself a round of applause and just some emojis, confetti. It was a good interaction that you all had, and hopefully you're going to put action to talk. They say talk is cheap, and that's why in communication is beyond talk. It's an aligning what we're saying with what we're doing that makes us very effective communicators at the end of the day. So thank you for every group. I know we have quite a number of people who maybe pastors here or communicators. Just know one good case study in communication is Pastor E. Adebo, and I'll tell you why. When I listen to preachers, no bias. Sometimes when they give a scripture, they give it once and they go, you're wondering, I missed that scripture. You always know that he's going to say it twice. Matthew chapter 6 verse 1. Then he said, Matthew chapter 6 verse 1, he says it twice. So if you miss it the first time, you get it the second time. And it's very simple. So it's not just the anointing that makes him successful, it's his simplicity, just to drive home the point that Stephen just gave. Awesome contributions. Now, if you have questions, we will take some questions before we conclude so we can respect our time. We have 8 more minutes before we wrap it up. But mine is, let's go out there. We're going to have the weekly prompts. So ensure that you do those, the daily prompts. You take the daily steps. But remember, out of the 4, you picked your one that you're going to practice for the next 1 week to be a better communicator. But watch out for the prompts daily and ensure you do them so that you can get the return on the investment that you have made to be in this program. Any questions before we call it a day? Feel free to unmute and ask your question or make your contribution.
Thank you very much for an impactful presentation. I've learned a lot, and through the Inspirer, definitely we will contact you, sir. The question I have is the place of integrity, because we have come across people that were able to dot the I's, appearance, they are good communicators, but at the end of the day, we discovered that there was a gap between what they had to offer and the issue of integrity. So how do we balance this, and how does one navigate this? Thank you, sir.
Very good question, Pastor Popola. I like the question. And that's why we look at the A, B, C. So yes, appearance, but the B that comes to talk about behavior, that's where actions will betray what they are saying. An alignment between what you are saying and what you are doing. The C talks about the message, the communication. And so the moment you notice that there's a contradiction between what people say and what they do, it weakens the influence as communicators, no matter the big grammar and the eloquence that they are speaking. So the moment you notice that, is a red flag. And the same Warren Buffett, who talks about communication increasing your wealth by 50%, says that there are 3 things that he looks for in employing people. 1 is skill, 2 is energy, 3 is integrity. He said if they have the first 2 and don't have the third one, he's not going to employ them. So they may have fantastic skill, they may come in with so much energy, passion for the job, but they lack integrity. He says he won't employ them. And how do you know someone who lacks integrity? Constantly, there's a betrayal between what they said they would do and what they actually did. And so once you notice that pattern, you can already red flag that person that yes, they speak good grammar and they're very eloquent, they're a good motivational speaker, but they may not be a motivational teacher, as John Maxwell would say. And I mean, John says it all. He says we can teach what we know, but we will reproduce who we are at the end of the day. I hope it answers your question, but what you can do as a person is that once you notice there's a contradiction, if you have leadership oversight over that person, you call them to order, because at the end of the day, it's hypocrisy. That's the word to use when our actions don't line up with our words, don't line up with our actions. Well, fantastic question. Thank you for bringing it to light. I think it drives home the point we're trying to make. Our communication is not just what we say. You're communicating something by everything that you do and don't do. One of my mentors shared a story of how an organization during Christmas sent him a hamper. It was filled with alcohol, and the guy is a pastor. He said he could have just collected it quietly and kept quiet, but he wrote them a letter to that, you know that I'm this, you think I'm one of those wine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He wrote them a stinker and sent the thing back. Now, if he had kept quiet, he has communicated something. Okay, so your actions or your inactions are communicating. And remember, it's moving from intention to impact. We want to make impact through our communication, not just speak high-sounding words at the end of the day. Any other question? We have 3 minutes to go. Yeah, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Yes,
Let's ladies first. Maybe we'll start the.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I want to quickly ask about managing tone and timing. Sometimes we found forced to raise tones when we shouldn't be raising. How do we handle this?
Very good question. It's about you just being intentional in catching yourself. So you practice it. So you notice your tone is going up. I think I heard it in one of the groups. I mean, the guy talked about sometimes he begins his conversations slow, then he becomes so passionate, he begins to shout, you know. And it was the same person talked about writing in capital letters. But the fact that he was aware, awareness is key, that he's doing this, he caught himself doing it. That means he can gradually control it, and it becomes something that you gradually control with time, and you're held accountable. Then you can give somebody the right to call you out when it happens. It could be a spouse, it could be a colleague, and all of that, you know, when you're shouting and timing. But I think the key thing is you just becoming self-aware. When you're doing these things, then you stop, apologize, and walk away. I'm sorry I shouted. And you walk away. I'm sorry I did that. And you walk away. It won't happen again. If it does happen again, feel free to call me to order, you know, because it's wrong. So once you give people the agency to do that, they will hold you accountable. It could be superiors, subordinates, or colleagues. Even your children, okay, your spouse. Anytime mommy shouts or tries to embarrass you in front of your friends, please, you can say, mommy, that's wrong. Don't do that. Then you will apologize. Then your child becomes your accountability partner. I hope that helps, Barbara. Great. Okay, Daniel, over to you. Final question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odeyemi, for those amazing words. My question is this. I've met with people that naturally their brand is shouting. Naturally. So when you see them online, if they're not shouting, no, they're not passing the right message. So they must be shouting to pass that message. Meanwhile, if you meet these people physically, they are very soft-hearted people. They are soft. And you're asking, oh, are you this soft? But online, you are some sort of a shouter. So I want to ask, what structured communication framework do you recommend for maintaining messaging consistency, tone alignment, credibility across all platforms, not just physically but online in this digital era? Thank you very much.
Lovely question, Daniel. I think it's, and I don't want to label anybody, but for me, I think it's an identity issue. Okay, you being comfortable with your identity. Okay, that this is who I am. I'm soft-spoken. You will never. Sorry that I have to keep using even Pastor Adebo as an example. We're not in church, but he's a brand. As a case. I mean, he preaches very calmly. It's who he is. Okay, and he gets it done. But there are other people who want to hear somebody who shouts. But the vice versa to it, Daniel, is that if he's shouting online is getting him the results he's looking for, and that's what the people want to hear him do, then he's basically wearing the costume for the business. And when he comes up, he takes off the costume at the end of the day. So the question to ask is your approach getting you the desired outcome with the target audience that you have? If it's getting it, then it's just the act. You're on a stage and you're performing. Be comfortable with your identity. This is who I am, and comfortable with your approach. So I really don't know what's happening with that person. The question is, are they getting the results? Is the target audience happy with the shouting and spitting on them? Fine, if they are, so if they are not, then you should change their approach. I don't know if it answers your question, Daniel.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very
good. Great. Well, it's been awesome. Look out for my daily prompts from tomorrow and make sure you act upon them and engage on the platform. It's been an amazing time with all of us. Over to you, Chidi.
Wow. I think I don't know what words to use, but I think I'm saying on behalf, yes, I can see people clapping already. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're closing now, but can we just put in some emojis? Thank you. Let's keep some coming, please. Thank you. Remember when somebody does something good and you delay saying thank you, it means that you really did not. Thank you. Thank you. So many things we learned today. So many things. Communication is not just by talking, right? And I like the one about words being creative. The scripture says it, yes. But when you talked about the guy that speaks to his card, it hit home differently. Thank you so much. So we've come to the end of day 2, week, and the start of a beautiful week 2. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined. Thank you so much. Adeyemi, you've, as usual, finished this. And God bless you. Thank you to everyone. Please, like he said, there'll be a lot on the chat. Please let's respond. Remember that growth is intentional. Learning is intentional. So see you same time next week. But we'll keep the chat alive. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week. And please let's practice what we've learned. Thank you.